After the events of Captain America the Winter Soldier, it was time for the Avengers to reassemble against threats old and new. But first, a detour set amidst the stars where a motley crew of Marvel characters saved the galaxy. Heart, humor, and greatest hits sum up James Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy, but does it still hold its own? Hi, and welcome to Studio Cinema Saturday, the show where we review films old and new, the ones you don't like and the ones you do. I'm your host, Jackson Hamm, and today we're talking Guardians of the Galaxy 10 years later. This film is directed by James Gunn and stars Chris Pratt as Star-Lord, Zoe Saldana as Gamora, Dave Bautista as Drax, Lee Pace as Ronan, Karen Gillan as Nebula, Michael Rooker as Yondu, Vin Diesel as Groot, and Bradley Cooper as Rocket. We're going to start off with what went into the making of this movie. Talk about a lot of the production elements. This film took massive inspiration from the 2008 comic book reboot of Guardians of the Galaxy, written by Dan Abnett and Andy Lanning. The first script for the film came from the Marvel Writers Program in 2010 and 2011, which gave an opportunity to young writers in Hollywood. Then, as James Gunn signed on to the film, it took even more shape from there. The first thing he created was the look and visual language of the film, pioneering the entire cosmic side of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The lore was rather fleshed out, even the little intricate details for every single costume and production element, set design even, making everything you see on screen mean something for the most part. As everything fell into place for the film, James Gunn came to realize that this was going to be a space opera similar to such films as Star Wars and Flash Gordon. With this vibrant and colorful space opera comes many notable scenes we can remember 10 years later, such as the cold opening when Peter Quill witnesses the death of his mother, and then immediately gets abducted by aliens and taken up to the cosmos. Immediately following the cold open of this movie comes our reintroduction to the adult version of Peter Quill, where he proceeds to go on this Indiana Jones-style-like adventure in a temple. Before going to get the artifact, takes a dance break, and we get introduced to the soundtrack of the movie. A lot of 70s and 80s music that is really good, might I add, is used in this film, and it's probably one of the most memorable scenes in the movie, him dancing here in the opening credits. Later in the movie, we get to see the beginning of our Guardians of the Galaxy come together in prison, of all places. Who would have thought a big heroic team in the Marvel Cinematic Universe would be formed in a Nova Corps prison, of all places? But here it is in the scene where they're working together for the first time to escape the kiln and everything. It's humor and action all mixed together greatly, and when it all comes together and Rocket gets them out of there, it's a very great moment in the movie. With Guardians of the Galaxy, we get to start seeing the start of the real interconnectivity of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with Thanos making a cameo appearance to kind of assert himself as a big bad in the cosmos side of the MCU that is looking to do nefarious things with Power Stones. The last notable scene I want to talk about is the Guardians coming together to save the day, literally joining hands to distribute the power of the Infinity Stone, the Power Stone, to defeat Ronan. And throughout the whole movie, it's been leading to this point. They've been at odds with each other, constantly arguing and at each other's throats, and then after Groot's sacrifice to save them, they finally come together, sharing this great power, and somehow pulling off the win. 10 years later, this is a great example of taking some lesser-known characters and making them household names. I mean, before Guardians of the Galaxy, what's a Groot? What's a Rocket Raccoon? Who is Star-Lord? What kind of names are these? But afterward, they have their own 3 movies, all kinds of merch everywhere. They've appeared in 2 Avengers films, which is one of the biggest franchises in the world. If that's not a testament to how good this first movie was, I don't know what is. To answer the question from the beginning of this video, does it still hold up? I think it does. It has heart, it has humor, it has the greatest hits soundtrack that just keeps you dancing for months after the fact. Heck, I still listen to the soundtrack to this day, all 3 of them, as a matter of fact. So you gotta go to the score. What are we gonna score this film? What am I gonna score this film? I think it's an 8 out of 10, just due to all the factors that I've talked about before. I mean, you can see the care that went into this movie in the production, and then just seeing it on screen, it's a great story, and it's funny, and of course, the soundtrack. We also have plenty of other episodes of Studio Cinema Saturday you might be interested in, such as X-Men Origins Wolverine, Deadpool and Wolverine, even Ford v Ferrari. There's also our sister show, Television Tuesday, where we talk about such hit shows as The Boys, X-Men 97, and Invincible. So what are you still doing here? Go check out our other content, and thank you for watching.